It all starts with that one moment, that split second when someone tries to stop a disaster before it explodes. And for Prince William, that moment came the day he sat his younger brother Harry down and finally said what had been weighing on him for months. He didn't shout, didn't accuse, didn't lash out. He just looked at his brother with that calm big brother seriousness and said, "Harry, slow down. Something isn't right." And honestly, you could almost feel the air freeze around them. William wasn't trying to be the protective, controlling future king that people sometimes paint him as. No, this was a man who had watched the royal machine chew up stronger souls, smarter people, and far more prepared women than Meghan ever was. He had lived through the chaos with Diana. He had seen Kate take years, literally years, to slowly ease her way into the family, to learn the rules, to master the silence, to toughen her skin until she could stand cameras flashing in her face like it was nothing. William wasn't trying to crush Harry's excitement. He was trying to stop him from running straight into a hurricane. But Harry didn't hear love. He heard judgment. The second William said those words, Harry's walls shot straight up. Instead of pausing, instead of breathing, instead of thinking, Harry charged forward even harder. And that one ignored warning. It became the root of one of the most painful breaks this family has ever seen. Because here's the thing people forget. William had lived the royal training course. Kate survived because she had time. Sophie had time. Even Diana, despite being thrown into a nightmare, at least had months to observe before marrying in. Meghan had nothing. She came fast, moved fast, married fast, and found herself drowning in a world she barely had time to Google. William wasn't trying to stop Harry from being happy. He was trying to stop him from inviting heartbreak into their already fragile family. But Harry wanted a future, urgently. He wanted marriage, kids, a home, a life, something stable to hold on to. After losing his mother so young, he felt time chasing him. William saw danger, Harry saw destiny, and once again, the warning was ignored. And this is where the story twists into something people still argue about behind closed palace doors. Word started spreading, quietly, very quietly, that Meghan had her eyes somewhere else before Harry, that maybe, just maybe, she wanted William. At first, it sounded ridiculous, but the whispers didn't stop. People noticed little things. The perfume she wore, the way she looked at William when she thought nobody else was studying her, the subtle closeness, the laughter, the spark. It sounds insane to normal people, but inside the royal circle, temptation is more dangerous than scandal. And then the perfume story hit like gasoline on a fire. Meghan's favorite scent, even before Harry, was Jo Malone's Wild Bluebell. Sweet, fresh, innocent. Except the note that made people gasp was the bluebell, because that was Diana's signature. Princess Diana's own beloved fragrance. Suddenly, this wasn't just Meghan smelling nice. This was Meghan walking into rooms scented like William's mother. The mother he adored, the mother he lost too young, the mother whose memory still shadows everything he does. Imagine William catching that scent and instantly being dragged back to childhood memories. A palace insider said it bluntly. She thought he would smell his mother's perfume and cave. Creepy or calculated, people couldn't decide. But once the idea was planted, the gossip practically wrote itself. Some began saying Meghan used scent as her secret weapon. That perfume wasn't fragrance, it was strategy, a trigger, a ghost she could summon. And from there, things spiraled. Suddenly, critics were calling her all kinds of harsh things. The one phrase whispered the most being, "Once a yacht girl, always a yacht girl." People painted Meghan as someone who always knew exactly how to use charm to climb higher. They claimed Hollywood taught her to shine, and the yacht circuit taught her how proximity to power could change her life. And when she entered the royal world with that same confidence, every move, every touch, every laugh, every lean was seen not as friendliness, but strategy. To those watching, she wasn't simply being warm, she was calculating. She knew the effect she had. She knew how her gestures looked, and she didn't care. That's why some insiders started using an even darker word about her: predator. Not literally, but socially. Someone who hunted with charm, who used closeness like a tool, who pushed boundaries just to see who would bend. and that's exactly why the palace built a private rule around her. William was never to be left alone with Meghan, ever. Not at receptions, not at dinners, not even at casual family nights. There was always someone else present. A bodyguard, a nanny, a secretary. Anyone, as long as they were never alone. Because one wrong photo, one wrong laugh, one closeness caught by a camera, and tabloids would explode with rumors that could scar the monarchy forever. But this wasn't just about William, it was about Kate. Kate, the future queen, had quietly and gracefully built her entire life around duty, loyalty, and dignity. The palace wasn't just protecting William from scandal, they were protecting Kate from humiliation. And yet, this only deepened the biggest question of all. If Meghan did flirt, why? Some whispered jealousy. Kate had the crown in her future. Meghan didn't. Maybe Meghan wanted to see if she could outshine Kate in William's eyes, even for a second. Others believed it was about power. If Meghan could influence William even a little, she wouldn't just be Harry's wife. She would be someone the palace couldn't ignore or push aside. A player, a force. And then there were the darker theories that Meghan liked chaos, that pushing boundaries with staff, with rules, with Harry, even with William, gave her a sense of control, a way to prove she was untouchable. But here's what makes this rumor impossible to kill. It didn't matter what Meghan intended, it mattered what people thought they saw. A smile looked like a signal, a laugh seemed like a lure, a perfume smelled like a ghost. And in a family built on history, heartbreak, and betrayal, the idea that Meghan might have dared to flirt with the future king became a whisper that never completely faded. Part of the reason this gossip grew so out of control was the direct contrast between Kate and Meghan. Kate was restraint, elegance, polished calm, years of training in every blink and breath. Meghan was the opposite, fiery, expressive, physical, emotional. Where Kate blended into duty, Meghan lit up the room. Side by side, it wasn't just two duchesses, it was two worlds colliding. Every time Meghan leaned slightly too close to William, it highlighted Kate's quiet grace. Every time Meghan laughed loudly, Kate's calm presence looked even more royal. It wasn't a rivalry, it was a visual explosion the world couldn't stop analyzing. And hovering above all of this was Diana. Her memory, her tragedy, her legacy, her perfume. For William, losing her was the deepest wound of his life. The idea that Meghan would walk into rooms wearing a scent so close to Diana's was almost unbearable for him, and unbelievably suspicious to others. Some even said Meghan styled herself like Diana intentionally. Similar necklines, poses, even the way she held a child. Was it admiration? Was it manipulation? Or was it Meghan inserting herself into Diana's shadow to gain emotional ground? For the palace, Diana's memory is sacred, untouchable, and Meghan mirroring pieces of her was seen as crossing an invisible line. And that right there is why the whispers never stopped, why the tension grew, why the warnings from William felt so urgent, why Harry's refusal to listen hurt so deeply. Because this wasn't just about William, Harry, Kate, or Meghan. This story had another presence woven into it. Diana, the ghost who never left, the mother whose perfume still lingers in memories, the woman whose shadow still shapes the monarchy. And maybe that's why, even today, the rumor that Meghan flirted with William refuses to die. Because when you mix perfume, power, jealousy, brothers, royalty, and ghosts, the story becomes something bigger than truth. It becomes legend. And the wildest part, even after everything blew up, the interviews, the accusations, the tears, the cold stares across the room during royal events, people close to the family say William still thinks back to that first warning he gave Harry. That quiet moment, that soft, slow down that could have changed everything if it had been heard with love instead of defensiveness. It haunts him because deep down, William never wanted a fight with his brother. He just wanted to protect him from the parts of royal life that had nearly destroyed both of them. But Harry didn't see that. Meghan didn't see that. Or maybe she did, and pushed harder anyway. Because once she realized how deeply Harry felt misunderstood and unprotected, it became the perfect storm. Harry leaned into Meghan for comfort.
Meghan leaned into Harry for power, and between them, William and Kate stood there watching the whole foundation of their family crack under pressure. Some insiders swear the distance between the brothers wasn't caused by one fight, one argument, one tear-filled moment. It was caused by that slow-burning, relentless feeling that Meghan and Harry weren't just leaving the family, they were rewriting the story, their version, their truth, their pain. And in the process, they were pulling Diana's ghost into it like a weapon neither Kate nor William ever saw coming.